Good day. Well, hello, this is Mr. Gumi, teacher at the university. In a measure to help ECFO students of special third year, I just want to make these lectures on YouTube. Yes, it's about research methodology in particular. It's about which mainly discuss the organization of the research paper, how to organize your research paper. Alright, the first lecture is, in this series of lectures, the first one is entitled just an introduction to what is meant by research paper and how to organize, how to conceive the organization of the research paper. As you see, it is writing up your university assignments and mainly research papers. Would you please... Alright, what is meant by a research project? Or writing a research paper is basically a part of a research project. What is meant by a research project? Research project is a component of a degree program requiring students of successful design, conducting and writing up a piece of research as a condition of being awarded a degree. Well, before being graduated, graduate students always asked by administration, by their institutions, by the academic departments, let's say, to submit a research paper as a compulsory condition that is compulsory in order to be rewarded a degree. So, writing a research paper is a part of what we say a research project. Research project can be writing a research paper and submitting it, or conducting, let's say, it's a kind of conducting a practice, especially in teaching, especially in TEFL or in teaching. So they keep up with a teacher at whether at the university, secondary school or middle school, and then at the end they have to present a lecture. They have to present a lecture with the design or a lesson plan and so on. So it's a part of their academic, let's say their academic career. The research project is part of their academic career, whether whether it means writing a research paper, whether it means writing a research paper, or let's say, or conducting another kind of research, or conducting another practice. All right. So this is the meaning of research project. Now, writing a research paper falls on two kinds. We can write a dissertation or a thesis. So, as a part of the research project, students can either write a dissertation or a thesis. We are going now to see the differences between what makes dissertation similar to a thesis, and what makes the difference between a dissertation and a thesis. Well, both of a dissertation and a thesis are similar in, let's say, in the form. To start with, similarities. There is only one similarity that exists between both a dissertation and a thesis. They are similar in the form. How does it come that both a thesis and dissertation are, let's say, are similar in the form? Both of them apply. In both of them, students or researchers can apply or can use the major conventions of writing and formatting a research paper. We can have a dissertation that is formatted in APA within the rules of APA, and also we can find a dissertation in which a student has applied the rules of formatting a research paper, whether in MLA or in APA. So there is no difference. There is no difference as far as the conventional forms of writing, whether using APA or MLA in both. There is another similarity that exists in both dissertation and the thesis, is that both of them apply that in students or researchers in both are, when writing a dissertation or thesis, they are going to organize their research papers, whether dissertation or thesis, accordingly. So there is a title page in both. There is a title page in both. There is a title page in both. There is also, let's say, conclusion. There is abstract, introduction, list of contents in both of them. Also, in both the dissertation and the thesis, students or researchers always use let's say the right use, or let's say use, or yes, they use they apply the writing skills of summarizing, paraphrasing, and quoting. Right. Now coming to the differences. So this is they are basically dissertation and thesis are similar in forms, in the form. They have the same form, but they differ in the contents. Alright, a dissertation is normally a number of written requirements for bachelor and master degrees, which is not far-reaching and less detailed form of a research paper. However, a dissertation looks far-reaching and more detailed kind of a research paper. A dissertation is a result of let's say a short term of conducting a study, which means students in writing, whether BA or MA, whether studying MA, BA, or in their BAs or in BAs or MAs, they have only short time, sometimes one semester, sometimes less than one semester, to write and submit their dissertations. It is about, let's say, 30, 35 to 50, and sometimes to 80 as far as the master's degree. Just 80, from 35 to 50 to 80 pages maximum, which makes the equivalent of somehow 10,000 to 15,000 of words. Right, we measure in writing, well, in determining, in identifying or indicating the size of the research paper, especially whether dissertation or thesis, we rely on how many words used, how many words the dissertation or thesis counts for how many words. So it is about 10,000 to 15,000 of words in. However, a thesis is a written requirement. It's an obligation. It's compulsory for obtaining your PhD degree, which means that it is far-reaching. It is far-reaching than a dissertation. It is also more detailed than dissertation, and also it is a result of a lengthy process. is another difference which makes, there is another corrector, sorry, which makes a clear-cut distinction between the dissertation and the thesis. It is originality. Originality is, let's say, is a source, is the basic element of writing a thesis, not a dissertation. What is meant by originality? In writing a research paper, everything, in writing a thesis, everything must be novel, everything must be new. The topic must be new. The research questions must be new. The analysis, every item which is included in your thesis must be new. In order to reach new conclusions and new recommendations after the analysis, discussion of your topic, analysis of your topic. Why? Because the research community insists on something. When writing a thesis, when dealing with thesis, everything, yes, you have to contribute with it. You have to contribute with it original knowledge to help research, to help clear out trends in the field of research. So this is, however, as far as writing a dissertation is concerned, BA or MA students are not obliged to bring something original in their research papers or in analyzing their topics. They're not allowed due to time constraints. Remember, they have only, let's say, they have only less than 1 semester to write and submit a research paper. Maybe less. Sometimes they are just given 3 months, 4 or 5 months to write and submit. So it is really not available. So time availability makes a problem, makes it a huge problem to big, let's say, makes it a big constraint for BA and master, for BA and for bachelor and master students to, let's say, bring something original in their research papers. So this is the let's say, well, what makes also clear cut in relation to in relation to originality is that in MA or in BA dissertations, it is possible to replicate research using another methodology. Well, as an example, if someone writes a research paper on, for example, on the origins of on the following topic, American Revolution, for example, someone has written his BA on American Revolution as a topic for his research paper. Another one reading this research paper may come out with a topic in the same, let's say, in the same trend. So from the American Revolution, the topic that he has already read as a topic for a research paper, he may come out with designing another research in the same trend or in the same field, but in another topic or in another way. So instead of studying the American Revolution again, he's gonna deal with the American Revolution in Massachusetts, or in New York, or in the American Revolution in the North, or the American Revolution in the South of the colonies. Another example, someone, for example, has written a research paper, a qualitative research paper on the following topic of the benefits of using softwares to improve English language learning. Someone else may choose the topic may choose the topic and replicate research in the field, but in using another methodology or another approach. Someone may replicate data from qualitative to quantitative, studying, for example, the effect of Tell Me More, or Write Well as a software to improve English as a foreign language learning. So this is what makes the big difference between both a thesis and a dissertation. In a thesis, everything must be original. However, in a dissertation, as I said, research can be replicated in another way or in another trend. Something else. Just few information about the basic requirement of a thesis. The basic requirement of a thesis is originality. So it is, as I said, a defining characteristic of a thesis. Your research. It is what makes the clear-cut distinction between both the dissertation and the thesis. It should add, or it must add, I mean, what do we mean by originality, or your research must be original? It means that you have to add with your research, some new information, some new recommendations to the body of knowledge that has already existed in research or in the field in which you're studying or you're working. Alright, as I said, originality has nothing to do with it. Originality has nothing to do with writing a dissertation as a research paper. Also, we'll move to something else now. Alright. The form of how to conceive the form of a research paper. So a research paper, whether dissertation or a thesis, has basically three sections. We have the preliminary sections, we have the body sections, or the middle sections, or body of the work, and then we have supporting sections. Preliminary sections now, why they are called preliminary? Alright, preliminary sections contain the following items. There is a title page, there is an abstract, there are acknowledgements, dedications, list of contents, list of tables, figures and illustrations, and also there is an item which is missing. I'm sorry, there is an item which is missing. I'm sorry not to add it. List of abbreviations and acronyms. Alright, why these items are called preliminary sections? For one thing, for two things. It's very important. It's really very important to understand why they are called preliminary sections. We're going to see that the discussion of the research paper, discussion or analysis of your topic of research paper, are not going to start whether in title, page, abstract, acknowledgements, dedications, list of contents or tables. No. Discussion, you're not going to effectively start analyzing or discussing the topic of your research paper from, as I said, Why they are called preliminary sections? Because of one, discussion or analysis of your topic. You're not going to start effectively, academically and effectively in a title page or abstract or acknowledgements or dedications, list of contents or list of tables or list of abbreviations and acronyms. So what do they contain? They just a short identification of what the research is about. And also another important thing, why they are called preliminary sections, because they are not effectively numbered. You're not going to number the title page. You're not going to number the abstract. You start numbering your research paper from the introduction. Because in the introduction you start informing about your research topic, about your research topic, about the. It is where you state the problem. It is where you. When you indicate the methodology about the methodology of your research and what conclusions you are going to reach. So you start numbering, as I said, effectively. You start numbering not from the title page or abstract, but effectively from the introduction, which is part of the middle sections of your research paper. All right, let's see what is meant by title page. What is meant by title page? Here we go. Alright, the title page is an item in your dissertation or thesis which tells what the research is about. Alright, what information we are going to find in. What information we are going to find in the title page. Alright, the name of the institution, the date of submitting the research paper, the topic, the name of the researcher, the name of the supervisor, and so on, the nature of the research. So all this information are included in, or must be included in your title page to give an identification of what's the topic, what is the topic of the research, when and where the paper is submitted, who is conducting the research, who is guiding the research, and also what kind of a research paper, whether a BA dissertation, whether a BA dissertation or an MA dissertation, or it is a thesis, or just an administration report. So all this information must be included in. Alright, title page. In the title page, the most important item is the title of the research paper. The title of the research paper indicates the topic of the research, what the research is about, and indicates also the nature of the research. Whether is it experimental research, is it scientific, is it clinical, medical, is it qualitative, is it quantitative research? The title should be the title of your research paper should be accurate, should be accurate, should be specific somehow, should be concise. Your title page of the research paper should be no more than 100 characters, including the spaces and the punctuation marks if used. If the title is somehow long, if the title of the research paper is somehow long, so you can divide it into main topic and subtopic, but you have to let's say separate between them with a colon, with a colon. The title page of your research paper should never be numbered. It must not be numbered. Right? And it should be brief. And it should be brief to some extent. Let's move now to the second item. After the title page, following the title, alright, these are examples, of course, taking into account the Algerian academic criteria, taking into account what Algerian research community insists on, the rules, according to the rules. So, the seal of the government, the seal of the government, followed by the sector, the Ministry of Higher Education, followed by the name of the university, then followed by the faculty to which you belong, then followed by the department to which you belong. In case it is a department of English, you just mention Department of English Language, or if it is a Department of Foreign Languages containing many sections, so Department of Foreign Languages followed by the section, English section, French section, German, Spanish, Italian, and so on. What is compulsory also is the logo of the university, and then followed by the nature of the research paper, dissertation on whether BA dissertation, whether MA dissertation, or whether a PhD thesis. Then the title of the research paper, and then followed by the researcher presenting or writing his research paper. In case we have more than a group, we have more than one student writing research paper. We have a group of students. How to list them? We have to list them alphabetically, taking into account the last name, not taking into account the last name instead of the first name, and then the year of submitting the research paper. Right? Let's move to the second item. All right, please go on, please. All right, abstract. What is also compulsory in writing research paper, dissertation or thesis is the abstract. The abstract of the research paper. The abstract is a summary of the research paper. A summary of the research paper, or summary of the elements that your research paper contains. The abstract is typically between no more than 300 words and no less than 200 words. Well, it should contain the following. It should contain the following information. So it is no more than 3 or 4 body paragraphs. The abstract in writing the abstract of your research paper. First body paragraph should contain the statement of the problem. What is the problem that you have researched, or the question, your research question? Second body paragraph, you should talk about, indicate the methods used in researching a paper, in researching your topic. And third body paragraph should contain an information of the results obtained, and also the last body paragraph, what recommendations or conclusions that are reached. We'll have an example of an abstract here. All right. As you see, this is an example of let's say an abstract in which we see that it is divided into, it is no more than 3 body paragraphs. At the That's an example of an abstract of a research paper. As you see, it is no more than 3 body paragraphs long. The first body paragraph talks about, indicates what the problem that is being analyzed or studied. In the second example, second body paragraph, what methods that are used. In the third body paragraph, what conclusions reached and what are the results of after conducting the study. Alright, that's an example of an abstract. As I said, it should be no more than 300 words and no less than 200 words. Let's move to another item that is included in the preliminary section. Acknowledgements. Acknowledgements is a section where you thank the people who helped you in your research. The first one to be thanked is your supervisor, some friends, some let's say the people also who helped you with documents. The people who helped you with documents, maybe if an action research was conducted or a quantitative research and you needed equipment, so money. So anyone who furnished, who sponsored your research should be thanked in this section. There's no rule for writing acknowledgement except spelling the names of the persons, correctly. After acknowledgements, now we move to there is another item which must be so this is another example of a research paper, of the acknowledgement in a research paper. The first one to be thanked is the supervisor, then teachers or friends or colleagues who helped these students. These students in their research are also thanked. Now we move to something else. Dedications. What is meant by dedications? To whom you offer the work or your research paper? To your parents, to your families, to your brother, to your daughter, your husbands, to your wives, and so on. So all these just to our parents, to my friend, to my dear friend, to my colleague, and so on. Alright, something else. We move now to another item which is very important in the list of tables or contents. Alright, the list of tables, it's, let's say, the outline of, it means that it is the outline. It is the outline of your research paper. It is compulsory. It is compulsory for F4 students, for BA or for MA students to include the list of contents in their research papers. Why? Because the researcher, the reader needs to have an overview of the organization of your research paper. How many items are included? How many chapters? How many chapters are included? Your research paper is divided into how many chapters? Your research paper contains how many items, and so on. So all these items must be included in your research, in your outline, or in your list of tables and list of abbreviation. All right, we number. All right, as I said, it is summary or the skeleton of your research paper, the outline. So it is arranged in two. It is divided. It contains chapters, sections, headings, and details. All right. All should be numbered. Or should be indicated with Roman with the Roman numerals, with the, let's say, with Roman numerals, with Latin capital letters or alphabets, and with Arabic numbers. All right, it should be numbered. All right, it should be organized as follows. It should be organized. So this is an example of an outline. This is an example of an outline. You see, it is divided in two chapters, chapter 1, chapter 2. Each chapter contains items. How many items? Alright, there must be, alright, as I said, there must be some information I'm missing. It's okay. So there must be, as I said, at least for each chapter. For each chapter there must be at least two sections. I mean capital A and capital B. And each section, each main heading, a section is, well, the section contains the chapter, the section of the research paper contains, each section contains the title of the chapter, the first heading, the first main heading, followed by the second main heading, and each heading is or should contain at least two details or two items. So as you see here, the origins, the title of the chapter is, the title of chapter 1 is The Origins of the English Civil War. And we have, in order to write, to fully develop origins of the English Civil War, we have two main ideas or two main headings. We have political background to the English Civil War, and we have the religious background to the English Civil War. And under capital A, under capital A, and under capital B, we have at least two details. As you see, each must be numbered. Each must be numbered with Arabic numbers. So we have chapter 1. All right, you may tell me why we should number the chapter. The chapter's heading is labeled is numbered with 6. It is impossible to not to indicate what each chapter should discuss. You should indicate at least in one short paragraph, what the purpose of each chapter, what each chapter should discuss. What each chapter should discuss. Alright, as a summary, you may have 1 page or 2 pages. So you have to indicate in a short summary what the purpose of the chapter, what the chapter should discuss. Alright, how to number the page, there are two ways of indicating the page number. Alright, individual numbers like these ones, page 6, the capital A page starts on page 7. There is also another way. For example, chapter 1 as a summary, you have written your summary of chapter 1 in 2 pages. It is 6 and 7, so 6-7. But this is not common. This form or this method of numbering the pages in the outline is not common. So the most the standard form of indicating the page number is the one which is indicated below. Something else very important: if the title is if the title of in the outline looks somehow long, I do not have, as you see as the example here in capital B in chapter 2, You don't have enough space to put the page number next to it, it's okay. Just alright. Now, before we move to the list of maps, something in writing the outline of your research paper. I mean, when you organize it into headings, subheadings. So you just use short phrases. Don't use verbs. Don't use verbs. Don't use verbs. Right? No need to mention the title of each section with, let's say, active sentence. I mean, subject, verb, object. No, just short phrases, especially noun phrases. List of maps. If you have used maps in your research paper, you have to indicate before in the outline what maps that we have used. So we just need to mention the title of the map, as we see, the approximate division of England during the Civil War. Short phrase with. Don't forget also to indicate the page number. I mean where the map is located. Alright, in the list of maps you can list them as follows, or you can use a table. You can include them in a table like that one. So that's why I have used two models of listing the maps. Now following the maps, tables. If you have used any tables, alright. Whether the research is qualitative or quantitative, any maps any tables used, you have to indicate whether in a list like that one or also in a table, as we have seen, as we have already seen, just in the list of maps. Now we move to tables or figures. If you have any photos used in your research papers, you have to indicate them in a list as a part of the outline. Figure 1. Figure here means whether a photo used or in a graph. In a graph used, whether a histogram or or a chart or a graph that is used as a figure. Alright? So since this is a research paper in history, so just the figures here are photos. Now we move to something else which is very important. The last. Alright, this is an example of, as you see, another example of an outline. It is well structured, well organized. Alright? Let's move to something. Alright. No, not that one. Let's move. Yes, let's move. Alright. List of acronyms and abbreviations. Alright, if you have used some acronyms or abbreviations which are not familiar to the reader, you have to indicate. I mean, well, it is impossible just to leave the reader astonished with not providing him or not providing them with the meaning of what you have used as abbreviations or acronyms. Especially if the research paper is in technology or is in politics or industry and so on, or in economics, where we use uncommon abbreviations or uncommon acronyms. So it is very, very important from the beginning, before you start discussing your research paper, to indicate in a list what is meant by each abbreviation you have used, not definition. I insist, do not define the abbreviation or the acronym, just what does the abbreviation or the acronym stand for. For example, FBI. For example, CTU, FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, CTU, Counterterrorism Unit, CIA, Central Intelligence of Central Intelligence Agency and so on. So as an example, so this is an example. You should list them in a table, whether in a table like that one or just in a list. Alright, you can include them as a table like that one or just in a list. Number one, for example, number one, dots, you typewrite the item and then colon, and then what does it stand for? I mean here the full name of the abbreviation. Alright, that's all for today. I hope you enjoy the video or the lecture. Next time we're gonna see, I think it's time, next time we're gonna see something about how to organize the middle section of your research paper. Thank you, bye.